Hello everyone, it's the Embark Avenue, I'm Eric. I have talked extensively about Six Flags Parks before, and of course the main draw for Six Flags Parks is their thrilling roller coasters. So today, I'm ranking every Six Flags Park besides Mexico since I haven't been there, based solely on the roller coasters. Before we begin, I should note there are some I have not been on, and I will get to those when I get to the respective parks, and it may influence the rankings a little bit. Also, it's entirely my preference, and mainly based on the quality of the lineup, not necessarily how cohesive it is, really just how good the rides are. Also, subscribe so you know when new theme park content comes out, and with that out of the way, let's begin. Number 14 is Frontier City. This was an easy choice. Number 13 is not the best lineup out there, but number 14 Frontier City is way worse. It's just not spectacular. I'll admit, Diamondback and Silver Bullet were closed when I went. Those are the two main rides there, but if I had gotten on those, I still doubt it would be any higher. Besides that, they have Wildcat and Steel Lasso, which are fine but not really good rides. There isn't anything outside of those, and it just kind of screams nice small family park, and it's the one in the chain that doesn't really feel like it fits with the big thrilling roller coaster concept that most Six Flags parks seem to have. Number 13 is The Great Escape. The Great Escape has Comet, a great wooden coaster, easily the best ride of the park, and that is holding it up quite a bit. Besides that, you have a Boomerang Flashback. I did not get on that due to the fact that it was a pretty long line when I went, sadly. Then you have not a whole lot else, sadly. They have two very bad roller coasters, Steam and Demon and Canyon Blaster. Those are holding it back a little. But really, for roller coasters, it's only Comet. You have a bobsled coaster that's never open, but Comet is good enough to beat Frontier City's entire lineup, so that is why it is not last place. Number 12 is Six Flags Darien Lake. Darien Lake has a pretty solid top 3. You have a very nice hypercoaster and Ride of Steel with some great airtime. You have Tantrum, a somewhat underrated Gerstlauer that, while short, delivers all the fun forces you would want on that kind of roller coaster, and Predator, a very nice wooden coaster that is not nearly as painful as I'd heard it would be, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. Outside of that, you don't have a great supporting lineup. You have a bad Vekoma SLC and a bad Boomerang, and an alright Aero Looper, and then you have Moto Coaster, a fun little launch coaster that is far from the best, but a nice family ride to have, and that helps make the supporting lineup a little better, but really, this one is mainly good for the top 3. Supporting coasters are not the strong suit here, but at least what they do have is decent. Number 11 is La Ronde. As much as I like to talk about how great this park is and underrated and such, I don't think the roller coasters are really that awesome. Their number 1 is easily the best of anything on the list so far, and honestly better than the few above it. Goliath is an awesome roller coaster. You have wonderful airtime and a great setting, making for a super fun ride. Beyond that, you have Vampire, which is a very nice Batman the Ride clone. I do like those Batman inverts, and that gives this one quite an advantage over a few others. Besides that, you have the alright wooden coaster Le Mans, definitely better than Wildcat, but not better than Predator, or Comet, of course. And then you have a few bad rides. The Boomerang is definitely not good, and Ednor Latag is just the worst. But I do love Goliath. Goliath and Vampire are definitely the ones that are holding this one up, but it's very far from the best coaster lineup out there, even though the park itself is pretty awesome. Number 10 is Six Flags St. Louis. This one is kind of weird. There are some bad rides holding it back, and some good rides holding it up. The best here is Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast, an awesome launch coaster, with only 3 elements, but all of them delivering quite a bit. I like the backwards and forwards parts of it, and it is an excellent Premier Rides coaster. The second best of their catalog. I'll get to the best a little later. Unfortunately, there are some bad roller coasters here. You have Screamin' Eagle, which is an awful wooden coaster, honestly. I get that it's a classic, I like it to an extent in terms of the history, and I'm glad it's still there. But it is one of the worst roller coasters I've ever ridden. There are some other good ones here though. You have another Batman the Ride clone, which is excellent. Their Pandemonium is a fun spinning coaster. And Ninja is underrated. Ninja is one of the best Aero Loopers out there. I don't know what to say about this one. It's a very weird lineup, where rides you would think would be the best are just kinda or bad, and rides you think would be bad are kinda holding it up. In terms of the other wooden coasters, the Boss is good, not great, definitely rough, but it has some awesome moments to it. And for American Thunder, unfortunately, it was closed when I went, so I can't comment on that. If American Thunder is really good, I could see this moving up to number 9, but no higher than that. Number 9 is Six Flags America. Six Flags America has quite a few strong ones. The best is Batwing. Batwing is a Vekoma Flying Dutchman, and it's an awesome, intense ride. Super enjoyable. I highly recommend getting on this one. I've heard some don't like it. I think it's great. Then you have Ride of Steel. It's called Superman Ride of Steel here, and it's the same as Darien Lakes. So that's a very nice number 2 to have. You have Joker's Jinx, a fun premier ride spaghetti bowl launch coaster, Wild One, an over 100-year-old wooden coaster that holds up quite well, and is definitely a strong one. Beyond that, you have Raging Cajun, a great supporting coaster. This spinning wild mouse spins you like crazy, and it's probably the best of any wild mouse I've been on. Unfortunately, that's kind of where the good stuff ends. Roar was closed, but I have heard that I'm lucky to not get on it. Firebird is among the worst B&Ms out there, and you have a Vekoma SLC that is not really helping the lineup. So there is some good here. The top 4 is very solid, but unfortunately it doesn't have enough great rides or enough decent supporting rides to give it a higher spot. Number 8 is Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Like La Ronde, this one is pretty underrated, I think, but the roller coasters hold up a bit better here, mainly because of the Joker. The Joker is a fantastic number 1 for the park. It is one of my favorite roller coasters, period. Top 20 for sure. This RMC is quite underrated, from the awesome airtime to the superb length and pacing. The only thing I don't love about it, I mentioned, is the first drop, but I still think it is a fantastic roller coaster. Then you have the phenomenal Medusa, one of the best B&M floorless coasters out there, and a near flawless ride, a flawless floorless if you will. Then you have Superman Ultimate Flight, easily the best of Skyrocket 2s I've been on, and a pretty awesome premierized coaster in general. Then you have Batman the Ride, one of my favorite SNS 40 free spins, and not at all a bad number 4 for the park. What else do they have? They have Sidewinder Safari, which opened after my visit, but I'm guessing it would be a nice addition, kind of like Raging Cajun being number 5. And unfortunately, they do have their flaws. Kong is definitely not a great roller coaster, but it's probably my favorite SLC besides the better ones. I'll get to one of those later. And I guess there are some other smaller ones. You have Cobra, you have a Boomerang. It's just like La Ronde or Darien Lake. You have the other bad supporting rides, but the great stuff really lands here, and that's why it was able to get a spot closer to the top half. Speaking of top half, number 7 is Six Flags New England. New England is one where the best rides definitely are outweighing the supporting ones. The top 2 here is immaculate. You have Superman the Ride, the best traditional hypercoaster I've ever experienced. Intamin outdid themselves on this one. From the airtime to the pacing to the subtle theming elements, it is a near perfect roller coaster. And then you have Wicked Cyclone as number 2. If this were number 1 at any park besides Discovery Kingdom, the park would move up on the list. So that top 2 is perfect. It is possibly the best top 2 in any Six Flags park. Unfortunately, beyond that, you don't have a lot. The next best roller coaster is not great. The next best is probably going to be Batman the Dark Knight, which is among the weakest B&Ms. It's not bad, but it's just kind of okay. You have a somewhat bumpy but still solid Riddler Revenge SLC, definitely the best of the Vekoma SLCs I've done, which I was talking about earlier. Then you have Pandemonium, a spinning coaster with worse restraints than Superman by far, and not a great ride. And Thunderbolt is a serviceable, kind of fun wooden coaster that isn't one that really sticks with you. And then you have a fun SNS 40 free spin in the Joker. These are all just kind of right around the same level of quality. They could any of them be third place, really. It's that top 2 that's really helping the park. Not to mention, they did get rid of their worst roller coaster, that does help a little bit. Goliath was a very bad ride. But they still have Flashback to my understanding. So the park has a great top part of its lineup. That's what's really giving it a nice spot on the list. If it had one more good supporting coaster, I think it could move to number 6 potentially, but maybe not, because number 6 is Six Flags Over Georgia. This is an awesome lineup. The number 1 is Goliath, one of the best B&M hypercoasters. It's so surreal to go outside of the park with a perfect mix of floater airtime, ejector airtime, and intense moments. I love this one. Then you have the weakest of the RMC hybrids, but still a great ride, in Twisted Cyclone. From there you have a ton of underrated rides. I love Superman Ultimate Flight, Batman the Ride, and Daredevil Dive. All of them are great. This might be the best Batman the Ride clone, easily the best Superman Ultimate Flight clone, and my favorite Gerstlauer coaster is Daredevil Dive. Great American Scream Machine has now grown on me. I used to hate it, now I realize, after some retracking, it's doing quite well. Unfortunately, there are some weak spots from here on out. Riddler Mindbender is among the weakest Schwarzkopf coasters for being quite painful, unfortunately. And there isn't a ton of memorable stuff beyond this. Blue Hawk is like a Six Flags New England coaster, it's just kind of okay. Dahlonega Mine Train is alright. Nice little mine train ride, but it's not the most enjoyable of them. Joker Funhouse Coaster is one of the best kiddie coasters out there, I guess I can shout that out, that's a pretty nice one to have. And there's something I'm missing right now. I should have put that in my scripts. Maybe I put this in my script, who knows, you'll never know. But the thing is, Over Georgia has some memorable stuff at the top, and the supporting lineup to an extent, but unfortunately, it doesn't have enough roller coasters, or quite enough good ones to be top 5. But it was close. Number 5 is Six Flags Fiesta Texas. This is the most beautiful park in the chain, but it has great roller coasters to boot as well. Iron Rattler is my second favorite roller coaster in the whole chain, and it's the number 1 here. Very nice look for the park. Awesome ride, highly recommend it. Then you have Superman Krypton Coaster, which is an awesome B&M floorless, probably my second favorite of that model. You have Goliath, which is definitely a good Batman the Ride clone, and that's the number 4 coaster in the park because of Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster. That would probably be above it, but it was closed when I went, so I can't know for sure where that would be, and that means it's not counted on this list. Does hold it back a little, but on the plus side, you still have Poltergeist, a fun Premier Rides launch coaster, right around the same level of quality as Joker's Jinx, and you have the original SNS 40 Free Spin, and I love Batman the Ride, very fun one. You have Pandemonium, Roadrunner Express. There is a solid supporting lineup here. I like this one quite a bit. It is held back by that lack of Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster when I went, and similarly, Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger was closed when I went. I did not ride the Boomerang, so I don't know for sure how that would be, but if Cliffhanger and Wonder Woman were open when I went, I think this could move to number 4. I will never know for sure, well maybe I will, we'll find out, but it's still a great lineup. Number 4 is Six Flags Over Texas. This park is jam-packed with underrated gems. New Texas Giant, Titan, Runaway Mountain, Runaway Mine Train, even to an extent Batman the Ride. There are so many awesome roller coasters here no one seems to talk about. My favorite is New Texas Giant, the excellent first RMC that people don't seem to love. I think even though the lack of inversions is apparent, and the ride does dwindle in pacing a little bit, it is a blast of a ride and an awesome top 20 roller coaster. Then you have Titan, awesome hyper coaster, super intense, definitely not a bad ride at all. Mr. Freeze, which I hear dropped the reverse blast, which is weird, but I've only ridden the reverse blast version, and that is the best Premier Rides launch coaster. Premier Rides coaster, in fact. I was mentioning that over at the St. Louis section, and then you have some other great rides that kind of go beyond that as supporting lineup rides. Where a lot of parks you'd have the Batman the Ride as the main headliner besides two other rides. It's the number 5 best here, so that's a pretty good look. Shockwave is a fun Schwarzkopf coaster, possibly the best Schwarzkopf coaster I've been on. And of course, I have to compliment Runaway Mountain and Runaway Mine Train, the massively underrated Runaway M roller coasters. I've talked about them before, love them both. Phenomenal roller coasters. Then you have more supporting stuff. Joker the Free Spin, Pandemonium, Judge Roy Scream is the classic wooden coaster, and of course, Aquaman Power Wave is finally open. I actually cannot believe it's actually here. Kinda surprised, I wonder what it's like. Guess I'll find out when I get back. Hopefully sooner than it took to open the ride. You have Lava Bora, not my favorite roller coaster, a bit bumpy as far as bobsleds go, but it's still fine, and it's a good lineup. This park has a lot to enjoy, and it's definitely one of the most well-rounded lineups in the chain, And I should point out, even though that's not a major thing, what's really holding this one up is how many rides are overlooked. Definitely one of my favorite parks for roller coasters, period. Number 3 is Six Flags Great America. As much as I gush about this being the best Six Flags park, I will admit the roller coaster collection is not the best in the chain. Main reason? It's number 1. Raging Bull is an awesome ride, and it did squeak into my top 25 coasters video. However, that number 1 does not hold a candle to that of the top 2. As a matter of fact, Fiesta Texas has a better number 1. Over Georgia has a better number 1. Six Flags New England, Discovery Kingdom. There are some better top rides out there. But this makes up for it by having a huge amount of great rides. Beyond Raging Bull, which is a super fun experience, it's not just a ride, it is an experience, I love that one. You have Goliath, the short but sweet RMC roller coaster, X-Flight, the massively underrated, truly phenomenal wing coaster that honestly was not too shy of top 25, I would say. You have Viper and American Eagle, great wooden coasters in their own respective ways. Batman the Ride, Superman Ultimate Flight, some of my favorite clone B&Ms. I love Vertical Velocity, Flash Vertical Velocity I suppose, very fun impulse coaster. Joker, the free spin, certainly a nice one to have. Max Force, a bit overrated, but still, definitely a top 5 in the park, awesome ride. You have plenty of others beyond that. You have the wonderful Whizzer, a nostalgic family coaster for many, and still a fun family coaster to this day. You have 2 kiddie coasters, Little Dipper and Sprocket Rockets. You have Demon, not my favorite thing out there, but, you know, it exists. And finally, there is the indoor Wild Mouse The Dark Knight coaster, which some hate, but I love. Fun effects, and one of the more comfortable Wild Mouse coasters out there. So you have a wonderful lineup here. 15 awesome rides. Of course, some of them are small-scale kiddie coasters, but for what they are, everything does its job. You have some of the best of each model of roller coaster out there, a super well-rounded collection, and an abundance of awesome ones. Whereas a lot of parks on this list, I'm only prioritizing 5 roller coasters at most when I go. This one I'm gonna make sure I get on 8 or 9 must-dos each time. And that is what I gotta want in a park. What more could you possibly ask for? Well, I guess there are 2 that have a few more than that. Number 2 is Six Flags Magic Mountain. I know a lot would put this at number 1. I get it. It is an awesome lineup. I think there are some rides here that I don't like as much as others, and that's why I've always considered their coaster collection a little overrated. But let's get into this. So the best here is Twisted Colossus, the number 1 roller coaster in the whole chain. So, great start. Best roller coaster in the chain, of course, is going to be a pretty high spot in the list as a whole. Tatsu, phenomenal B&M flying coaster. One of the best coasters out there for sure. X2, overrated, yes, but still, awesome number 3. Number 4 for me is Batman the Ride due to the fact that Wonder Woman Flight of Courage had not yet opened when I last went. Based on my experience with another similar ride, I imagine that be number 4, and Batman would be number 5. So I can give benefit of the doubt and say that Wonder Woman would be 4, and even with that, I would stand by this being number 2 instead of number 1, if it were the same as the other ride I'm referencing. Beyond that, you have some other fun rides. Apocalypse the Ride is a wonderful wooden coaster, just as good as Predator or Comet, and those are the headliners of their parks, or at least very high up on the list, and here it'd be number 6. Full Throttle is a fun launch coaster with some phenomenal elements, but it does leave me wanting a little bit. Riddler's Revenge is not aged super well, but it is still the best stand-up coaster out there. West Coast Racers is an unfortunate ride, because I think the restraints bring it down more than anything else I've ever been on. More than Skyrush. Superman Escape from Krypton is good when you're going backwards, not forward. Forward is definitely not into your top 10 in the park. Scream is unfortunate as well. Scream is just not a good roller coaster. It's got its janky moments throughout, and it's the most lackluster of the B&Ms. I'm the kind of guy who never gets forceless rides on anything. I think Valraven and Gatekeeper are forceful. This is not forceful. And then you have Goliath. Goliath is a good, not great hyper in literally every aspect, besides maybe intensity. But even that is a little inconsistent. Then you have the family coasters here. I like Ninja a lot, great suspended coaster. New Revolution, fine. Gold Rusher, one of my least favorite mine trains, but not the worst thing out there. You have 4 kiddie coasters to make sure they break that record for most rides, but Energylandia is coming at them. It's an interesting park lineup overall. I think there are rides here that easily help us earn a high spot. Top 2 is inevitable for this. It just can't be number 1 for me though. There is one park that has more amazing rides and a better supporting lineup for me. I know it's just me, not a lot of people would agree that Magic Mountain's number 2, but the number 1 park is one that is quality over quantity compared to Magic Mountain. It still has 14 roller coasters, but that's better than the 19 that are all kind of phoned in to an extent at Magic Mountain. And number 1 had to be Six Flags Great Adventure. This was not a super difficult choice for me. This park lineup is truly spectacular. Number 1 here is Kingda Ka. Yes, it's not El Toro. Kingda Ka is one of the most unbelievable roller coasters out there. I rewrote it very recently. My thoughts are still vivid. I adore this ride. It is underrated. People still think Dreiser's way better, or was way better because Dreiser's gone now, because of restraints and roughness, but they're missing the bigger picture for me. I feel like Kingda Ka is a ride that is just unbelievable in terms of the speed, intensity. It does not feel painful. It's just you are getting those harsh forces exerted on you. And that's what the enthusiasts seem to ride roller coasters for. I find it weird that one can hate on Kingda Ka, but like other rides that have very similar effects. Either way, El Toro is number 2 here, and that speaks volumes. That being number 2, great look for the park. Because if that were number 1, it would still be great. El Toro is one that I have not ridden too recently because of the retracking thing going on, but my rides were awesome. A bit rough, yes, sometimes very, very rough, but it has enough awesome airtime to make up for that. Then you have Jersey Devil, a bit underrated, truly thrilling ride. I love this one. I now think it is better than Twisted Cyclone. That's by a little bit, that is. Definitely not the worst RMC out there, and a great one to have in your lineup. Then you have a B&M Hyper, Nitro, easily better than the Hyper Coaster that you have going for you over at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Then you have Medusa, great B&M Floorless, right there with the other Medusa. Actually, I think it's a little better. And of course, you have the awesome clone rides I was talking about earlier, those being Batman the Ride and Superman Ultimate Flight. Love those, glad to have them. You have a free spin here, the Joker, a very fun one. Skull Mountain, a nice little family coaster. Same goes for Runaway Mine Train, and the Dark Knight Coaster. You have a small Harley Quinn Crazy Train, and the very bad Lil Devil Coaster. Not the best kiddie coaster out there. What else can I really fault here? Green Lantern. Green Lantern is probably the worst B&M out there. But that doesn't matter too much. Pretty much every park besides Great America has one dud in its lineup. And Great Adventure has so much to enjoy. From the amazing top rides here, that top 5 is by far the best in the chain for me. Then you have the amazing supporting lineup. And I really think a bit has, at all the other parks, Superman Ultimate Flight is definitely not going to be a ride you put so low on the list. For me, Superman Ultimate Flight and Batman the Ride are 6 and 7 respectively. On the other hand, when you look at Magic Mountain, it would be Batman the Ride currently sitting at number 5. That's definitely not as good. With such an abundance of awesome rides, there was no way for me to not put Great Adventure at number 1. From the amazing top part of the lineup to the probably second best supporting lineup in the chain, Six Flags Great Adventure lives up to that first part of its name. Great. Definitely the second best Six Flags park for me, and based on roller coasters, it's the one I'm most hankering to get back to. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below your favorite Six Flags roller coasters or your favorite parks based on the roller coasters like I ranked here. Subscribe for more theme park content. I'll see you next time.